Hello everyone, welcome to my tutorial. In the last few tutorials I talked about the servlet API. I also talked about some of the very important interfaces and classes within the API. I talked about the form data. Now all of these components we need to put together in such a way that we have a very good architecture. And for that purpose we need to understand the concept of the design pattern. So what is a design pattern? According to Wikipedia, in software engineering, a software design pattern is a general, reusable solution to a commonly occurring problem within a given context in software design. So in this case, the problem is we are going to make a very good web application and it is going to follow some kind of template. And what is that template? In this case, the template is the model view controller. And this is a design pattern. And this is platform independent. That means any kind of programming language can implement the model view controller. And this is one of the most implemented design pattern in the web technologies. Now, in case of Java web technology, we are using the servlets, the JSPs, and Java files for this. Now, if we go to the next slide, we can see that each of the components are being implemented by different technologies. So for the model, this represents the database and is being implemented by the plain old Java object, or we sometimes call that the POJO. Basically the model here is to implement your business logic. Then we have the view, represents visualization of data implemented by HTML, JSP, JavaScript, or different tag libraries. So the view is what we see on the browser. So that's the view in short. And then we have the controllers, and the controllers receive direction from client and dispatches to models and then render back information to JSP pages for client view. Servlets implement controllers. So again, the models are being implemented by the Java files. The view is implemented by the JSP, and the controller is being implemented by the servlets. Now let's look at a picture and things will be more clear. So let's say that we have a browser here. And the browser is trying to use a login. Okay, so the user is trying to log in through the browser. Now the browser is going to invoke, so this is, let's say, process number 1, and then it's coming to the controller and we are calling these to be, let's say, login. And this is what? This is a servlet. Okay, so it's coming over here in the controller, and then controller is sending request to the model. Okay, and this is a Java file. Basically, the controller can ask to the model that, hey, the user ID and password, is it correct or not? So this is, we can also call to be the business layer. Okay, and this is number 2. And then it sends the information to the controller. The controller now renders. Renders information to where? Renders information to the JSP page. Okay, so basically the controller is getting some information from the model that whether this ID and password is good or bad. If it is good or bad, whatever it is, that information is going to be rendered to the JSP page. Okay, and this is our view component. And then that information is what we see on the browser. So this is number 4. Again, the browser is making an information, or is making a request. It is coming to the controller, which is a servlet, and then the controller is requesting the model, which is the business layer, and it's fetching the information from the, you can say that this is fetching the information from the database. Okay, so it's fetching from the information from the database, and then it does some processing and then sends the back information to the controller. The controller then sends back the information or renders the information to the JSP page, okay, which is the view, and this is what we are seeing on the browser. So that is number 4. So that's all about the model view controller.